Fantastic matchups.
Yeah, the last two with SC and UCLA were high quality volleyball. Very well played by both teams.
And with that starting off service, that's Andon Kiriakou for UC Irvine, the 6'2 junior outside from Toronto, Canada. Kiriakou has been a steady force at the service line as well as defensively and in the receiving line. First dig by Aitken. Koski throws it out to Jokanovic, and Jokanovic lights it up off the block early.
He left a little early and hung in the air. Got a little smaller block over to Cole Schobel, but I would never count Cole Schobel out. He's going to sneak some blocks, even though he's not as big of a jumper.
Kiriakou going back to serve for UC Irvine. Early lead here in set number one. A couple other matches happening around the NCAA tonight, total of 6. Jump serve ace for a winner for Andon Kiriakou.
Great control by Andon Kiriakou. He's had moments that has had to work on his control and distance, and that was a great first serve to get it in, and the second serve catched him off guard.
Just 13th ace on the season. He's averaging .23 aces per set and can crack it when he needs to.
Absolutely.
And there's one already. Guy passes overpass attack by Clark, dug by Saint, goes outside to Guy, and left side attack misses long. He looks at the lines official and an immediate,
There was a seam in the block. Trevor Clark did not close the block all the way. The area between Clark and Costi was enough for him to slide through that.
That makes it a 3-0 lead for UC Irvine early on. Little hybrid pass by Saint. Schobel goes back over to Bruning for his first swing. Darcy on the dig. Aitken flings it left side to Jokanovic. Goes off the block. Picked up Guy. Back row attack by Saint. And Saint puts it away off the cable. Darcy made the move, but unable to get the scoop underneath it.
That ball that hits the cable, takes a little jump upward. So you line it up as if it's not going to hit the cable. That really throws you off digging-wise.
Going back to serve, Cole Schobel for the first time. Local product from Costa Mesa, California.
Great server, a great server.
Wicked southpaw, pass by Jokanovic. In the middle to Clark, and he goes high off the block of Denver. Point Irvine.
Yeah, Trevor Clark has been a great find for Coach Niffen this year. Big jumper, came in as an outside hitter, but they need somebody in the middle, and he's leading the nation in hitting percentage, hitting .596 right now.
That brings Clark back to serve with a 4-1 lead, and he serves into that. Not enough gas in the swing there.
He jumped too early.
That makes it 2 looking at 4, and another local product, Riggs Guy from Newport Harbor High School, about 2.5 miles from here.
And half this starting lineup here I coached in the 6th and 7th grade.
Ball's passed by Kiriakou. Kosti outside to Jokanovic, and he hits it long. Everyone's looking for a touch, none to be had, and no argument to be given by Jokanovic. So like that, Gaucho's back within 1 at 3-4. You got swing by Jokanovic.
He was just trying to find some high hands, and he missed it.
Good serve by Guy. Jokanovic, dug by Guy, tight pass. Kosti on the one-timer, dug by Bruning, picked up by Schobel. Saint off speed, dug by Kiriakou. Kosti back over towards Darcy, and he tools the outside hand of Saint.
How about that dig by George Bruning? He's 6'10", diving on the floor, picked that ball. Great.
According to your opening, he was born 6'10". So.
Yeah, well, almost. His mom's 6'3", and his dad's 6'8" or something.
Kosti back to serve at 5-3. That's a Cameron Kosti. Spin serve off the cable. Guy on the pass. Schobel back over to Bruning. Bruning through the block. Kiriakou got underneath it, but had his platform pointing in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Makes that 4, looking at 5.
They're going to give it to George Bruning quite often. He has more swings than everybody else on the team.
That brings Mikey Denver back to serve for the first time. The 6'6" redshirt freshman middle from Santa Barbara. Aitken, perfect dime. Goss on the swing, and he hits it long, and we're tied at 5s. Look like there's no snap on that ball on Goss.
It's funny because usually Goss just goes up and rips it. He kind of took a little off of that, trying to hit around the block.
Denver to Jokanovic, Kossi to Goss. Goss, high hands, great dig by Guy. Set right side by Denver. Bruning tries to tool the block. He digs his own block ball. Saint off speed, dug by Aitken. Kossi flings it out to Darcy, goes off the block. Guy there on the cover. Schobel back to Saint. Saint splits the block, and Kiriakou may have slipped because he got a good read, but he fell to the ground.
Yeah, it looked like he did slip. The ball was just a kind of waffle to the seam, easily diggable.
You know what? He pulled back thinking that Aitken was going to get to that ball right into the highway of havoc.
Those two are the leading. They're second and third in the conference in digs.
And Saint thought he got the block on Jokanovic, but Jokanovic able to get enough thumb down on it to tool it off the block.
Barely out of bounds, barely.
6-6, and that brings Jokanovic back to serve. The freshman outside hitter from Cannes, France, stands at 6'8". Great serve pass by Walmer. High ball is Schobel to Saint. Saint triple trouble at the net by Kiriakou, Goss, and Darcy.
Yeah, great timing on that block. All three of them waited, very disciplined, got up on top of it.
7 serving to 6. Jokanovic back to the service line for UC Irvine. Jokanovic, whole lot of pace on it. Overpass. Aitken, hand pass. Kossi, big to Jokanovic, and he scrapes the paint on the bang out of the back row.
Yeah, that's the right time to set that. Everybody thought it was going to the middle. They've run the middle every time it's been close so far, leaving Jokanovic wide open.
Pilkvist had to go up on that attack. Micah Goss coming in hard and fast. Jokanovic pass by Guy. Back set to Bruning. Bruning tries to tool the block and turning it inward. The 6'2" Andon Kiriakou.
Yeah, that was a match under at LMU. Coach LMU was Coach of the Year. He's done a great job at Santa Barbara, making the NCAA finals twice.
Great serve by Jokanovic, dug by Guy. Right side to Bruning. Bruning swings high, swings hard, and crushes.
Great set by Schobel. Great set off his shoulder, facing the outside. And George went up over the top of that block.
That brings Bruning back to serve. Stands at 6'10", redshirt sophomore from Newport Beach. And CDM, the former Sea King. Sure he has some family in the house tonight.
Yeah, I just saw his mom a second ago.
Kiriakou, Kossi to Darcy, and Darcy with a hang and bang.
As advertised, is exactly what we talked about before the match started. You got Bruning on one side, you got Darcy on the other side, hitting over, both of them hitting over.
That brings Micah Goss to the service line for UC Irvine. Goss stands at 6'6", a sophomore middle from Santa Barbara. Dos Pueblos High School was on the USA men's U21 team that won bronze this last summer as he serves that one long.
He didn't get any snap on it, he just like he did on the first hit.
It's a recurring theme.
Yeah, to get that wrist up and over the ball.
That brings Ethan Saint to the service line, the 6'3" sophomore outside from Laguna Niguel, the former Santa Margarita Eagle. Saint takes a rip, cuts it over to Aitken. Kossi in the middle of Clark. Good dig by Saint, saved by Guy. Bruning swings into the net. Point going to the Anteaters.
Gauchos, this is a Rick McLaughlin thing. Gauchos block really soundly. They were waiting on Trevor Clark and touching the ball, and that's a key to slowing him down.
Darcy, a little spin, pass by Guy. Schobel back to Bruning. Bruning drills it down the line but misses long, and the Gauchos all wondering why that wasn't it. Will we have a challenge here? Coach Rick McLaughlin getting up. And looks like we've got our first challenge of the night by head coach Rick McLaughlin, challenging that the ball was in on the George Bruning attack. The original call was that the ball was out. As you take a look at the replay here, look at Bruning swing out of the back row on that D ball. Was there a touch? No touch. Touch off the head.
No touch. Wow. Touch off Shane.
That looked in, actually, Charlie.
But I thought when he hit it, it was in. He didn't hit it that hard.
Yeah, that was a great shot by the camera crew there getting that shot, but I think it did touch Shane's head, too.
It looked like it did, didn't it?
So
I'm watching Shane to see if he's making any actions about that.
That was a close shave. George Bruning applying the razor.
Let's see what Gucci Row South over there is calling.
And looks like it's a successful challenge by Rick McLaughlin, as the Gauchos get the point after the George Bruning attack. Could have been a touch, but it was definitely in on that end line, tagging that white stripe. So the score goes to 9 serving 11. And that brings Dylan Pilkvis, the current freshman of the week in the Big West. Costi to Andon, and Andon wipes it off of Schobel. Point going to Irvine.
See how Andon Kiriakou stayed, waited. It was a fast set, but he didn't come in early, waited, so he was hitting it on the way up, allowing him to hit the ball off the block and out of bounds.
For Kiriakou, that's his first kill of the night. He steps back to the service line. Little off-speed spin, pass by Guy. Back out to Guy in the give and go, off the block. Jokanovic on the pickup. Clark hand sets. Jokanovic blocked, covered by Darcy, set by Kiriakou. Jokanovic blocked again by Schobel. Tips over the block and down. And Gauchos putting up a formidable block, but
really a nice block. Schobel's on that side, but he's still coming a little bit cross court into Denver.
Jokanovic taking 3 rips on that to take care of business.
Yeah, see, then covers himself, which is a great play, and then just found the opening spot.
Otherwise known as the recycle.
The recycle.
Kiriakou back to serve. This time goes into the net for a point, going to Santa Barbara. Bringing Schobel back to the service line. Schobel started his career at Loyola University.
Chicago.
Under first-year head coach John Hawks.
John Hawks, who is now at UCLA.
And came back to Santa Barbara and has been a great addition for Coach McLaughlin. Jokanovic swings high, swings wide, and point going to Santa Barbara as Jokanovic goes to his wallet. He's been doing that quite a bit, at least his first few approaches. He's been going to his wallet.
Seems the ball seems to be behind him. I think he's coming back down on his heels.
11 serving at 13. Schobel back to the service line again for the Gauchos. Great rip off the cable. Stays on Gaucho territory, unfortunately.
I hope young people watching Cameron Costi on that play. The ball that hits the tape and rolls over is most often the setter is the closest person to that. So you need to be aware of that ball. He was right there.
Well, Cameron Costi comes from good volleyball genes.
So that Costi group.
Schobel. And out of the back row goes Saint, and he scrapes the paint on the sideline.
That was a pretty explosive hit. Well done.
Cameron Costi's dad, John Costi, Stanford coach, who went to UC Santa Barbara.
Yeah.
What a connection.
Yep. Uncle Chris Costi played at the University of Hawaii.
Guy back to serve and misses long. They're going for it from the service line, but just unsuccessfully at the moment.
That's kind of the name of the game at this level, Rob, is everybody's going to be going for it.
Well, with that, that's a second service error for the Gauchos, and we see Cameron Costi at the service line for Irvine. Costi, high toss. Guy pass to Schobel, outside to Saint. Dug by Kiriakou. Aitken shows off his hands. Jokanovic blocked up top, covered by Goss. Back to Jokanovic. Wipes it off the block again, saved by Goss. Bumps it by Kiriakou. Wiping it. Oh, and we got a lift called on the attack by Jokanovic. Point going to Santa Barbara, and the persistent block of the Gauchos really making it tough for Jokanovic.
That's kind of a subjective call. I don't know if...
So back to serve goes Mikey
Maybe
Denver.
His hand was underneath it.
Hybrid to Jokanovic. Costi outside to Darcy, and Darcy goes off the top of the block.
That was Darcy matched up with George Bruning.
It's a lot of big guys over
there.
Two
of them eye to eye at 6'10", looking at each other.
We've got 16 serving at 13. Jokanovic going back to serve for Irvine.
Darcy's smiling. He's loving that confrontation over there.
Great serve pass by Walmer. Shoots it over towards Pilkvist. Aitken bumps that's right side. Darcy over the block. Dug by Guy. Schobel low set to Saint. Saint through the block. Dug by Costi. And Jokanovic takes a swing. Dug by Walmer. Schobel sets Saint again off the block. And Saint wins out off the muscle.
Yeah, Micah Goss just had his right shoulder off the net facing that way. And he found the seam and hit his hand and took it out of bounds.
And that is persistence by Ethan Saint, the 6'3" outside from Laguna Niguel. Bruning takes a rip and misses way too long for a point going to Irvine. They go up 17-14. As we take a look at Micah Goss back to the service line for UC Irvine. Looking on the screen there is Bruning. And the other tower, William Darcy, the battle of 6'10s.
I know, that's a fun matchup.
Goss, little spin on the serve. Guy, and swinging for the first time is Schobel. We were talking to Coach Rick McLaughlin. He basically has a green light to swing.
Well, he's got such an arm. You look at his jump serve, it's just such an arm, and everybody talks about how exciting it is to watch Schobel play.
And taking advantage of what is normally the weaker defender, playing defense down that line as well.
Yeah.
Saint, spin serve, misses way long. Point going to Irvine, now up 18-15. As we take a peek at William Darcy at the service line. The Darcy stands at 6'10" from Brisbane, Queensland, Australia. Serves that one in the net. We got a little bit of the service error-itis going on.
Well, Santa Barbara missed 3 of their last 4. And then Darcy hits that ball low in the net.
Dylan Pilkvist going back to serve for Santa Barbara. Floats it over towards Kiriakou. Pass out of play, and Costi runs out of real estate with the social media influencers lined up on that sideline.
Well, they also, Professor Chompy's over there, over in Gucci Row South.
And with that, the Gauchos pull within one at 17-18.
Hilkins serve, watch the ball. The ball just moves and floats a lot. No spin on it at all.
Played for beach volleyball legend Tim Hovland at El Segundo High School. And then Kiriakou goes ballistic, the Canadian crush.
When they're in system like that, and you can get him that fast set to the outside, the middle blocker for Santa Barbara has trouble getting out and closing the block. There's a big seam for Andon to hit. He hits it well.
Kiriakou serving with the 19-17 lead here in stat number 1 in our Big West men's volleyball matchup. Kiriakou, slow approach, off speed ace. That's his second of the night, 14th on the season.
He's got that cross-court serve. Just drops away from Jason Walmer.
Got to change it up. You got to bring that toolkit a la Lirahano. Another big spin, another ace. Make that back-to-back aces for Kiriakou. Making that 3rd of the night, 15th of the season. Now we've got a timeout taken once again by UC Santa Barbara as they trail 21-17 here in set number 1. Charlie, what are we realizing here?
Well, the serving is really, really important, especially when you see how dominant both the big right sides are for both teams. And Irvine seems to have been a little bit more consistent from the line serving it. That's the main difference, I think, right now. Both the big side, big right-handers on the over there have been really, really good and hard to stop when they're in system.
On screen, you're looking at head coach David Niven of UC Irvine. Came in 2013 in his first season, got himself a national championship after coming over from the women's side with an assistant here at UC Irvine under Coach John Sparrow. Then took the job at Illinois, came back a couple years later, the Natty, and has been here since.
He was an assistant women's coach at Illinois, went all the way to the NCAA Final Four, and then the job opened up here at UC Irvine, and he applied for it. And he's had a great run.
Looking at the Anteater crowd in attendance tonight on a midweek matchup. Light schedule in the NCAA this week, but it has not been short of action. Monday night started off with a top 20 upset. That's the Princeton Tigers coming west, receiving votes in the AVCA poll, upsetting number 12, UC San Diego in their house. And then last night, Conference Carolinas Belmont Abbey taking McKendree, coming in at number 10, going the distance, but falling short. McKendree's Nikki Sandlin getting the win. As we go back into play, you're looking at Andon Kiriakou coming off of 3 aces on the night.
After this timeout, this is an important serve.
He goes off speed, saved by Saint. Schobel back to Bruning. Bruning off speed inside the block of Clark.
Now see that block, Clark and Andre were both up way too early and on the way down when the ball hit their hands. That's why they were not able to block it onto the Santa Barbara side.
Schobel back to the service line. The southpaw spin goes into the net. Point going to Irvine. They go up 22-18, and looks like Irvine's going to have a substitution. Checking in for the first time to the 6-foot serving specialist, Aiden Schulten, the redshirt junior from Seal Beach, California, and Los Alamitos, the former Griffin.
I hate to break it to you, Rob, but he's about 6'3".
Spin serve pass by Walmer. Schobel back row attack to Saint, and Saint bounces it off the end line.
Saint is so explosive out of the back row.
And that brings Clark back in for Schulten.
Rick McLaughlin talked about how athletic Ethan Saint is, and you're seeing it right there.
And that brings Riggs Guy back to serve for Santa Barbara. And that serve goes in the net, and Santa Barbara having some serving issues here in set number 1.
They're going on just streaks of missed serves, which I don't think you can do.
That's service error number 6 on the night as Costi goes back to serve for Irvine. Costi winds up, tight overpass picked up by Jokanovic, shoots set over to Goss, and he tools the block. Point going to UCI, and we're serving for our first set point.
I am not sure why Cameron Costi's not setting Darcy at all on the right side.
Costi to serve for set point number 1 for Irvine. Misses just wide, aggressively going for that sideline. Makes that point for the Gauchos, and Mikey Denver goes back to the service line for Santa Barbara. Denver on the night. Still no kills. Aitken. Costi outside to Darcy, and he goes for the tool off the block, and Irvine takes the first, 25. So always great to have them down here or even see them playing up north.
Yep.
As we get ready for the second set, Charlie, what does Santa Barbara have to do to get back into this?
Well, they've got to be more consistent with their serving. You look at the stats, the hitting percentage is about the same. The digs are about the same. The blocks, the blocks are, UCI has 2.5 blocks, and Santa Barbara hasn't blocked any. So that's a big difference. But also Santa Barbara's missed 6 serves. Got to cut that down if you're going to make this close.
Well, we were talking earlier. We said these teams live by one player. They live or die by one player. For UC Santa Barbara, it's George Bruning. For UC Irvine's William Darcy. It's a tale of 2 tapes here. Darcy, 4 kills, 0 errors, hitting, 667. And you have George Bruning on the other side of the net, 4 kills, 2 errors, hitting 250.
Well, the other guy, Saint, is 5 kills, 1 error, hitting 400.
Schobel starts off the second with third. Kiriakou, perfect pass. Goss again blocked in the middle by Mikey Denver, having his number tonight.
Yeah, that's exactly how you stop this kind of a lobby middle set, is to wait on it. And they waited, and then dropped into it.
Well, you got Denver, Santa Barbara High School, Dos Pueblos High School for Goss.
They've seen each other.
Inner city rivalry. Jokanovic tip covered by Schobel. Walmer sets high ball out over towards Guy, dug by Kiriakou. Costi back to Darcy. Darcy dug by Schobel. Free ball by Walmer on the reaction play. Picked up by Aitken, dumped but popped over. And we've got an inadvertent whistle. Replay called on the court. Sid Church, the R1 on duty.
I was shocked.
Called a dead ball on the dump. That was the second ball.
Everybody knew that was the third ball. It was clean except for the referee.
So we replay 1 serve to 0. Schobel back to serve again. Schobel takes a rip, pass by Jokanovic, set by Costi. Jokanovic tries to wipe it off of Bruning, and Bruning forces it back down on the anteater side.
I'm not sure you want to set that ball right on top of the net with Bruning over there.
Yeah, if they haven't noticed, he's a big guy.
He is a big guy.
2 serve to 0.
Yeah, he doesn't lose that joust very often.
Guy. Showball over to Kiriakou in the middle to Goss. Low set. Pancake by Walmer. Free balled up and over by Denver. Set in the middle of Goss. He's blocked again, covered by Aitken. Costi tries to force it through on the dump. Another joust popped off the block by Costi. Costi sets out to Jokanovic over and through the uprights of Bruning. A lot of action on that play.
A lot of action. A lot of good ball control. Jokanovic is starting up that prance he does after he makes a good play. Well, it just turns, and now he just marches around.
1 looking at 2. Costi off the cable, pass by Saint. It's out of system play. Bruning takes a rip, goes inside the block, dug by Aitken. Costi fires back to Darcy. Darcy hits it wide and long as he falls to the rear.
Darcy was trying, he had Bruning out in front of him. They left him over there on the left to match up with Darcy blocking wise.
3 serve to 1. We're gonna have a little break here. Costi tying his shoe on the other side. Little strategy, drama.
Yeah, I don't know, tragedy.
And that brings Riggs Guy to the service line. Still no kills for the Newport Harbor grad. Ball's passed by Aitken. Costi off to Goss, and Goss with a stop and pop.
That's a nice set. You take the ball all the way over here to area 4, and George had to respect Darcy on the left here, so he stayed out. Only 1 blocker. You're not going to stop Goss with 1 blocker.
Andre Jokanovic serving for Irvine, trailing by 1. Goes cross court, pass by Guy. Showball to Guy on the give and go, and it goes wide. I thought lengthwise is in, but the lines official on the other side called wide.
Yeah. There was no snap on it. It was carrying straight.
3 serving 3. Jokanovic, the true freshman from Cannes, France, stands at 6'8". Trickler picked up by Walmer, out to Saint. Saint dug by Aitken, popped over by Kiriakou. Walmer steps in, Bruning swings and knocks it off the block of Goss and Kiriakou and out of play.
Nice turn, angle of reflection. He took the ball just enough off the block to let it carry off the block and out of bounds.
That poke over by Kiriakou was so smart to get done, and then we see that swing by Bruning, and it is off the block and out of play. The bench is saying challenge, but Aitken said no, no, no.
I don't think Goss.
Kiriakou sends fire in the hole.
But again, he's in system. See how fast that set was?
It's like Bruning has to take a step in because Pilkvis and Bruning had a huge alley in between them.
They've run the middle so many times that Pilkvis can't leave until he sees if it's not set or not.
Goss back to serve. 4 serving 4. Goes off the cable. Off the net pass by Guy. Out to Saint. He's blocked. Covers his own ball. Schobel back out to Saint. Saint drills it down the line and off of Costi and out of play.
There's Saint at 6'3". He's got Trevor Clark, who's 6'10". He's got Will Darcy at 6'10" in front of him, and he just gets up and swings.
That brings Bruning back to the service line for Santa Barbara. 4 kills, hitting .250. Bruning takes a swing. Kiriakou, perfect pass. Costi to Clark. He's blocked, covers his own ball, has to go over. Aitken free balls it, picked up by Walmer in the middle of Schobel. Pilkvis. Kiriakou hits it long. Point going to Santa Barbara. They go up by a pair at 6-4. And we're going to have our first challenge by head coach Dave Niffen of UC Irvine. Should be in-out touch or in-out challenge, but I thought it was going to be a touch he's going to go for. So original call was the ball was out, and UC Irvine's challenging that the ball was in fact in on the attack by Andon Kiriakou. And looks like, from what we can see, Irvine's going to lose this challenge.
I think so. That ball I don't think was very close.
But then again, there's a continuation play. They review the footage, and if there's a touch on the block, which I wasn't looking out for on the replay, they can overturn it based on what they see in the continuation.
I don't think there was a touch either.
So we've got some fans in the house here awaiting the call here. Looking at Joe Sloat, the R2 on duty, reviewing the challenge. Let's see it again here. See if there's a touch. No touch because Pilkvist got over there late.
And
so that would leave the in-out right there, and it was about a foot out.
Yeah.
But it's a long review by the R2, so anything can happen, we've learned. Like last week at USC at UCLA, there was a challenge by one side for a touch off the block. They said it was an unsuccessful challenge. You read the footage, off pinky, no rotation, and change the direction of the ball.
Yeah, yeah.
So we've got our decision. Unsuccessful challenge, that means Irvine down to one challenge on the night. With the unsuccessful challenge, point remains with Santa Barbara, up 6-4. Bruning back to the service line for the Gauchos. Bruning, the redshirt sophomore outside. This time serves it in the net, and after that long review, no surprise, honestly.
Yeah.
Because that was a longer review than I thought it would be at least.
Well, I can start off on my every time there's a delay, there's a missed serve, because that's important to understand that.
Darcy takes a crack, and it's passed out of play. Saved by Saint. Down ball by Guy. Costi outside of Kiriakou. Kiriakou off-speed shot and falls, playing pinball off of Dylan Pilkvist.
And he was smart. He had a big block in front of him, and he just went change of pace, change of tempo, and good things will happen. First of all, if it comes back to your side, it's easy to cover. And it didn't, though. It went over.
Darcy serving at sixes and goes into Gucci Row South.
At Gucci Row South, that's a tough area over there.
But at least they got a gift bag to console them with.
Yes.
Maybe there's an ice pack in there. That brings Saint back to serve for Santa Barbara. Saint takes a rip, pass by Kiriakou. Costi back over to Darcy at the right side, and Darcy through the block. Darcy with that high ball attack with confidence just takes a full swing.
Darcy's got a great control of the ball. See, that was right into the seam.
For Darcy, that is kill number 5. Still no attack errors. Kiriakou over towards Walmer. Dump covered by Kiriakou. Costi fires in the middle to Clark. Clark dug by Walmer, picked up by Jokanovic. Jokanovic on the give and go off the top of the block. Saved by Walmer, saved by Saint. Free ball by Guy. Aitken hand pass. Costi dumps through the block, picked up. Schobel shoots it out to the pin. Roll shot dug by Darcy. Back set by Clark. Jokanovic off the block. And it's blocked down in by Schobel, Pilkvist, and Guy. And it's that perseverance by Santa Barbara that seems to always win out.
Santa Barbara just keeps coming and keeps coming. It's a test in resilience.
And that's a Rick McLaughlin coach team right there.
Absolutely.
Longer the rally, the more likely Gauchos get the point.
They're very, very disciplined.
8 serve to 7, and that serve goes into the net by Pilkvist. And we're tied at 8. And that brings Trevor Clark back to the service line. Clark on the season gets some good numbers. He actually 12th in the nation in blocks per set. Guy over towards Denver, and he's denied, and this time Goss gets the better end of the Santa Barbara matchup.
You know, it's an interesting contest here. You got real quick middles on the Santa Barbara side, and then you've got lobby kind of slower middles on the UCI side where they're used to hitting over people. And both teams have adjusted to the other.
Clark with a wicked float, joust one out by Goss, and he forces Schobel back in his own domain.
Boy, that doesn't happen to Cole Schobel very often. That's a great play by Micah Goss.
Former teammates on the FIVB U21 World Championship team, bronze medalists. Goss and, not Schobel. As we said, jump serve misses long. Actually, that's Riggs' Guy. That was his teammate. The other Newport Costa Mesa product.
Yep. I think George Bruning was on that group too.
I think we were talking about this last night. He was on the training roster. Right. I thought he was listed on the roster, but. Yep. Schobel back to serve. Goes over towards Kiriakou. Overpass and little thumper at the net by Bruning.
I'd love to see the replay on that. That definitely looked like it was way, Bruning was way over.
10 serving to 10. That's one way to get your momentum started, is a overpass blast like that as we see that serve go long. 11-10. Seems like a slower pace to the second set, Charlie. Is that intentional, you think?
It might be. I'm not sure.
Costi at the service line for Irvine. Costi 12 assists, 2 digs. Goes over towards Guy. Schobel, back row to Saint, and Saint goes thumb down the pipe. Point going to Santa Barbara.
Irvine got 2 blockers over there. Jokanovic moved over. He had 2 good blockers in front. Shane had to move inside the block and dig that.
Well, it looks like they're trying to funnel that back row attack over towards area 5 down the line. Jokanovic, Costi out to Darcy. Darcy unloads, saved by Bruning. Free ball by Schobel, picked up by Aitken. Costi back out to Darcy. Darcy blocked up top, and winning the battle of the bigs is Mikey Denver and George Bruning.
That's a great block at a high level.
12 serving 11. That was a great dig by Walmer on the Santa Barbara side of the first attack by Darcy as that serve goes into the net.
Walmer's made some great digs in this match. And also George Bruning has made a lot of reflex plays using his length to bring balls back into play.
We're talking to Coach Rick McLaughlin early. He said it was a tough battle at Libero on his side because he had Joe Wallace combating for that starting spot with Walmer. And we got an ace for Jokanovic.
On Walmer.
I jinxed him.
You did.
That's Jokanovic's first ace of the night, 21st of the season. In fact, Jokanovic, 49th in the nation with aces. Big blast, pass by Guy off the net. Schobel goes right side of Bruning. Bruning, cross-court rip. And I don't know how that got inside the block. All 3 blockers up in that angle.
It didn't go inside. It went outside the block angle. That's what's amazing.
13-13, Denver back to serve for Bruning, kill number 5. Ball's pass, Costi back over to Jokanovic on the 40, covered, dug, saved by Jokanovic, and thrown down is Darcy. Schobel in the middle, tipped off the block by Pilkvist, covered by Costi, set by Jokanovic. Darcy at the right side, over the block, dug by Guy. Schobel back to Guy on his 40, and he goes into the net. A little low set on that 40, though.
It was a low set, and he dug the ball on the back line. He didn't quite recover as fast as you see Santa Barbara players recover.
Goss back to serve, 14-13 with the lead. As he's taking a little chatter from the Gaucho crowd here. Probably a former teammate in high school or opponent in high school. Serves into the net, 14-0. Back to serve is George Bruning for Santa Barbara. Bruning, low toss, goes down the line to Kiriakou, out of system play, backside over to Darcy. Darcy through the block and down as he pops the cap in the corner.
That's a
and we got a timeout on the...
A lot of serves. The difference is UCI has 4 aces.
Off speed by Darcy. Schobel fires it out to Saint, dug by Aitken. Koski fires back to Darcy. Darcy denied by Pilkvist and Saint, and we're tied. 15s. Seemed like Darcy hit that out of rhythm as too high a set, or
probably a little high, but you got the ball on the right side of the court. I would like to see that set all the way across.
Overpass turned down up top by Pilkvist, the reigning freshman of the week in the Big West, as the Gauchos go up 16-15. Irvine having some reception problems here out of that timeout. Big serve by Saint, picked up by Cossey to Clark in the middle, over the block, dug by Saint. Schobel takes a rip and goes off the block of Clark, and you can feel it rising on the Gaucho side right now.
Yeah, they're digging a lot of balls.
17 serving to 15, and Saint, Schobel, and Walmer on scoop patrol on the back line for Santa Barbara.
They're sliding into the seam.
Saint passed by Jokanovic, Cossey in the middle of Clark. Clark is denied by Pilkvist, and Pilkvist has Clark's number.
Well, I think, but see, both blockers were up very, very late. They're just waiting and then jumping up to the where the ball is set late.
And we've got a timeout taken by UC Irvine, hoping to slow the momentum of the Gauchos. But you're talking about that waiting on the block. You got Clark, who stands at 6'10", 6'11", and Pilkvist at 6'6", so he's having to wait.
He has to wait because both the middles for UCI hit a very late ball, and that's how you slow that down, is by waiting, and just touch the ball. Well, they're timing it so much now, and Irvine's used to hitting it down that they're getting blocked badly.
Well, with that, if you look at Pilkvist, that's his third block match.
Look, Santa Barbara now has 6.5 blocks to only 3.5 for Irvine.
Currently on a 4-point run, and that jumper misses long, so a good timeout taken by Coach David Niffen. They pulled in a pair at 16-18. Kiriakou back to the service line for Irvine.
Irvine's hitting 125 to 260 for Santa Barbara.
Kiriakou, 4 kills, hitting .500, has 3 aces on the night and 3 digs, as well as 2 block assists. Goes down the line over to Guy. Schobel outside to Guy. Guy through the block, dug by Darcy off his chest unintentionally. Also known as a Chester. Ball falls on the Irvine side. Point Santa Barbara. 19 serving to 16. Pilkvist back to serve. Pilkvist for Santa Barbara, the 6'7" freshman middle from El Segundo. Kiriakou, tight pass, Cossey to Jokanovic. One-hand dig by Bruning, one-hand save by Denver. Darcy, hand pass back out to Jokanovic, and he hits it wide, touch off the block, and he's been falling backwards on every approach, it seems like.
I think the sets are sometimes right on, sometimes 5 feet off, and it's just hard to get a rhythm or a timing when the sets are so varied.
Clark floats down the line over to Guy. Schobel back to Guy on a low set. Goes off the head of Cossey. Picked up a Kiriakou. Cossey in the middle to Goss, and he hits it long.
Goss has got the block in front of him. He sees the block, and he just doesn't want to hit down into it, so he hits it higher and deeper, and it goes out of bounds.
20 serving to 17. Schobel back to the service line for Santa Barbara. Schobel with 13 assists. Perfect pass by Kiriakou back over to Darcy. Darcy sends fire down the line. Walmer's been picking up everything, but he couldn't get that one.
No. You notice how long Santa Barbara is defensively. They're playing balls way outside their range from side to side, especially George.
18 looking at 20. Cossey back to serve for the Anteaters. Cossey leads himself into the court, and a trickler ace. Point going to Irvine.
Okay, now when you go back to serve, Cameron Cossey, make sure and hit this one a little bit higher than that last one.
That's Cossey's first ace of the night, 9th on the season. As we wipe up some sweat on the Gaucho side, trying to keep that ball in play.
You know, this is a good crowd, middle of the week. Next week is finals week. Have this many kids come out.
And we got a timeout taken by UC Santa Barbara, with Irvine trailing 19-20 here. And, you know, we're mentioning that we're just starting Big West play, whereas other conferences are a midway through. And right now, Santa Barbara sits atop the Big West 1-0 after the win against UC San Diego.
Yeah, that was a big win, 5 games. Gauchos, as I said in the intro, are just getting better and better every match they play. having won 4 of their last 5. Only loss was a very, very close 3-game to UCLA.
Well, the Big West still in the top 5. You've got Long Beach State at 2. Of course, you got Hawaii at 3, Irvine at 4.
Yeah.
And SC at 5. So it's a great battle at the top between the MPSF and the Big West.
Yeah, those are 5 pretty good teams.
And then you go a little bit farther out, you still have teams like Pepperdine, BYU,
who are both really good
Loyola,
teams.
Ball State. And, we start talking about what's happening in the MIVA right now. We've been joking been hearing on a podcast, MIVA Madness, MIVA Get-In, MIVA Mayhem, because you have all the teams separated by maybe 3 games as far down as the 7th place team.
I remember when you and I looked at that when we were doing the broadcast in Phoenix, how there were 7 or 8 teams that all legitimately could win that conference.
And we're back in play after the Santa Barbara timeout as Costi goes back to serve for the Anteaters. Costi, little off-speed ball picked up by Walmer, and a ball falls to the floor. Make that another ace for Costi.
They've switched liberos now. Joe Wallace is in, a little bit bigger body.
Joe Wallace stands at 6'1" from Los Gatos, California, St. Francis High School and OCC.
The thing about Walmer is he's not very tall. He has trouble on those balls that require a lot of movement.
And there's more sweat to be wiped up on the Gauchos side. We're all tied up. The perfect score, 20-20. Costi standing at 6'5", goes over towards Wallace again, and make that another ace for Costi. 3rd of the night, 11th of the season. He's just looking down the seam, making the receiving line move.
Yes.
And now they're shifting Riggs Guy farther and right back now. Actually, they've got them equally spread between Saint, Guy, and Wallace. Costi to Saint. Schobel on the big, dug up and over by Costi, picked up by Wallace. Schobel again to Saint. He's denied, and we got a net violation called against Irvine. And we may have another challenge. So they're saying that it's on Andre Jokanovic, and he's saying no. He turned immediately to Coach David Nim, said no. So let us see if we're going to get a challenge, because Coach David Niffen only has 1 challenge remaining. And he's going to go for it. So we've got a challenge formally by UC Irvine. Original call was Irvine into the net. They're challenging that there was no net on the play. So let's see the replay here, courtesy of our Big West crew. We probably need that net cam right up top rather than the end-line cam.
Yeah, that should show it all. The net cam should show.
I hope we can get that footage on the net cam. Usually it's on this side of the net.
It's up there.
But is there another cam in front of our, here we go. Let's see, Jokanovic is closest to us. Well, actually, it was the middle. Yeah. That was Goss.
It was Goss.
So it looks like UC Irvine's going to lose this challenge. Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
Weirder things have happened.
That's so true. we've made that call before, and it's been just the opposite.
It's like in a different reality sometimes. But, I'm just looking at the video.
Yeah. Yeah. If Goss did net, and that was a pretty good net, as soon as they said challenge, he should have said no. Even though they called it on Jokanovic.
Yeah.
He should have said, no, don't challenge this.
Yeah. Well, we're still reviewing it, which, it was pretty apparent on our view.
Very obvious.
But you know what? Like I said, stranger things have happened here. So let's see. We've got Joe Sloat, the R2. Oh, he went the wrong direction. So unsuccessful challenge. That means UC
Number
Irvine.
Number 5 wasn't even blocking over there. That's
Okay, we've got
Darcy was not even involved with the block. It was Goss.
So it looks like Santa Barbara with a point. Blackjacks across the board at 21s. Jump spin, picked up by Aitken. Kossi back to Jokanovic. Off speed, dug by Wallace. Bump set by Denver. Right side to Bruning, dug by Kossi. Aitken looks, bump sets backside over to Darcy. Darcy over the top of the block, saved by the Gauchos. Set up and over, covered by Kossi. Stepping into set is Kiriakou outside to Darcy. Darcy high off the top, and Bruning goes down hard on the side of the net. And immediately Darcy checks in on him, and he took a hard fall. And Darcy, the sportsman checking in on him. Did they contact underneath the net?
I think they did. George is saying he's fine, he's fine. He's a pretty tough kid.
Oh, no, it was off of Denver.
Yeah, Denver went under.
So point goes to Irvine. They go 22-21. Thank goodness that George is okay, because that was a hard fall.
I'm telling you, he's a tough kid. I've known him a long time.
22-21, Bruning, Jokanovic. Set outside to Saint. Saint, no rotation. That was like a floating attack ball. 23-21.
Great move by Shane Aiken to get it out of the way. He either had to play it or let it go, and he knew it was gone. He let it go.
And we got a timeout taken by Santa Barbara, their second and final, as Irvine leads 23-21. You're looking at Colm Schobel there, who's running a pretty effective offense, but you know, it's the errors right now that's really stopping the momentum that Santa Barbara is getting.
Yeah, yep.
We take a peek at the score, 23-21, Irvine leading. And offensively, you see Santa Barbara hitting 245 for the match. Irvine's hitting a 143.
Yeah. Well, you know, the Irvine is always counting on their middles, putting balls away. At, you know, at a high rate. Micah Goss is hitting 0.
13 attack errors for Irvine versus 7 for UC Santa Barbara.
Irvine's middles are 4 kills, 4 errors. They're hitting 0, and those two are both usually hitting 400, 500.
And both teams offensively have been pretty good on the season. I'm going to take a peek at their offensive performance as a team. Hitting percentage, UC Irvine 9th in the nation, hitting .331 going into tonight. UC Santa Barbara at 31st, but .246, not bad.
That's what they're hitting tonight, .246.
So they're where they're supposed to be at.
Yeah, Irvine is not. And I'm telling you, the middles, they usually count on the middles to raise that hitting percentage for sure. And they're being stopped by the slower block.
We're going to have a substitution for UC Irvine checking in for the first time. Beck Weber for Andon Kiriakou for blocking purposes. I wonder which way he's going to go.
Probably.
He's normally a middle blocker.
George is on this side. It's got to have Darcy come move to the left.
Jokanovic
he put
over towards Wallace. Outside over to Saint. Saint dug by Aitken on the cross-court rip. Kossi, high ball to Goss, who's hitting left side. Rolls it off the block, covered by Weber. Bumps up by Aitken, low to Darcy. Darcy off of Guy. Schobel, high ball left side over to Saint. Dug by Aitken again. Kossi back over to Darcy against the grain, and he misses long. Point Santa Barbara. Darcy frustrated with himself as he stretches his jersey up over his mouth. Kiriakou checking back in for Weber and coming in for UC Santa Barbara for the first time. Owen Longcar in for Mikey Denver for serving and defensive purposes. Longcar 6'3", outside from Pacific Palisades.
Loyola High School.
Spin, pass by Jokanovic. Kossi back over to Darcy. Give him another shot.
Oh.
He sends fire in the hole.
I don't know what fire in the hole is, but I do know that was over the block and into the middle of the court. That was a great shot.
If we watch the replay, you see Darcy find that seam, and it's set point Irvine serving at 22.
That's a good hit.
Goss at the service line for Irvine. Goss, spin off the cable, saved by Schobel, set by Guy to Bruning at the right side. Bruning dug by Jokanovic. Clark goes over on 2, staying at the left side, and Irvine takes a second, 25.
would play same 7 all the time, no matter what. And now this year he's doing competition during practice to determine the starters. That gives him the flexibility now to throw in different lineups based on what's going on in the match.
And then Kiriakou going back to serve to start off the third here for UC Irvine, trying to close it out in a sweep. Guy, perfect pass to Schobel, back over towards Saint, and Saint scraping the paint on that back row tag.
They've set Saint that same set each time to start the set.
Coming in hot on that Bick. As he take a peek over at our reigning freshman of the week, Dylan Pilkvis at the service line. He floats that one into the net for a point going to UC Irvine. I love the connection here between the coaching staff. Rick McLaughlin, coach at Loyola Marymount. Coach David Niffen for one season.
Was on his team, yep. The last year they had a team.
Float serve over towards Saint. Schobel out over towards Guy off the top of the block. And Clark made a valiant effort, but unfortunately went the wrong direction. Point going to Santa Barbara.
Yeah, that's what happens when you put your middle blocker back left.
There goes Charlie.
Yep.
Throwing shade at the middle. Just remember, all you middle blockers out there, remember who threw shade. Schobel over towards Kiriakou, outside to Jokanovic. He pokes it inside the block and sliding under that Schobel towards Goss, and they check in on each other.
Yeah.
And that's the thing you got to love about Schobel as a player. He just goes 190%.
Everybody loves him, and he's just, he's a wonderful young man.
But you got to give props to the mustache. The handlebars, that is a good look.
No, you don't.
Costi serving, goes down the line over towards Guy. Schobel on the pick over to Saint, and he tools the block. Whole lot of spin off of Goss, and he goes, rides the cable and out of play.
Ethan Saint is golden on the pick tonight.
And that brings Guy back to serve. Guy, 2 kills, 7 digs, and 3 block assists. Winds up over towards Kiriakou. Costi back to Jokanovic, and he wipes it off of Saint to return the favor.
That's a smart hit. He just turned his wrist at the last minute, went thumb away off the outside hand of Saint.
For Jokanovic, that's his 7th kill, but he's hitting 0-8-0 on the night, which is not a normal night for him. Jokanovic goes cross court, misses wide, aggressively trying to pop one in the corner. And that brings Josh Rea to the service line for the first time. On the season, 43 kills, hits, averages 1.34 kills per set. Stands at 6'9". Floats deep over towards Aitken. Passes the wrong way, saved by Jokanovic. Free ball by Kiriakou. Hand pass by Pilkvis. In the middle of Pilkvis. Dug by Costi. Pilkvis hits into the net. Double contact by Pilkvis. Got a little overzealous on the overpass.
I've always thought if you get that overpass that quickly, just block it but down and take your 2 points. I mean your 1 point, and not try and make that play swing. There's too much going on.
4 serving 4. Goss at the service line for Irvine. Goss 3 kills, 3 errors, hitting 0 on the night. Ball's passed by Guy. Schobel back over to Saint. Saint on the thumb down pound. Beautiful 4-4 crush.
Yeah, that was nice. Anda needs to be there and dig that. He had moved back, but not deep enough.
Irvine's been off for 10 days since that UCLA match, and now take a few weeks off for finals.
Finals next week, yeah.
They'll take on UC San Diego. Off the cable, pass by Andon. Costi on the big 2. Jokanovic dug by Bruning. Saved by Guy. Great bumps at the Saint. Saint swings into the hole and puts it away. That's a broken play winner for Ethan Saint.
That's a tremendous set.
Was that Guy that bump set, that blind bump set high outside?
Perfect.
6-4, Santa Barbara with the lead here in set number 3. Bruning takes a swing at 7 kills, hitting 357, picked up by Kiriakou. Costi over towards Clark, and Clark on the jump and thump.
Finally, they're moving the middle away from just running the 1, and that's a little gap set into the gap between the blockers. Hard to stop that.
And with that, William Darcy back to the service line, the 6'10" opposite hitter from Brisbane, Queensland, Australia. Schobel swings on 2, and that's what he has a green light to do.
Just exactly what he wanted. He was in the right side of the court, ran all the way up, went up on 1 foot, and ripped it off the block.
7 serving 5 for Schobel. Again, an offensive-minded setter, getting his own. That's kill number 3, 0 errors, hitting .500. Joust one out up top and goes off the block and lands on Darcy, who is standing out of play. It grazed his jersey after Cossey made that heady tool. And there it is.
Yeah, wow.
He didn't go to dodgeball school, apparently.
Well, first of all, what's he doing out there, you know?
Clark, Bruning, dumped, picked up by Aitken. Cossey outside, over towards Kiriakou, dug by Saint. Ball falls as everyone looks at each other on the campfire defense on the Gaucho side. And that's a break for Irvine.
That's what ages coaches. I'm watching Rick McLaughlin over here, and he's
so Pilkvis actually screened Schobel.
Schobel, oh, I didn't see that. Yeah.
That's a lot of boy to be moving around. So Schobel, I got you. Jump serve, misses long, and will we have our 3rd challenge of the night by UC Irvine? No challenge to be had. 9-6 Santa Barbara as Pilkvis goes back to the service line. Pilkvis on the night, 4 block assists and misses wide on that serve. 7-9. That brings Trevor Clark to the service line for UC Irvine. Clark stands at 6'10" from Lake Elsinore, California, the transfer from San Diego Mesa Community College. Picked up by Saint. On 2 again. Schobel's beginning to take charge up top.
That's a great serve receive pass just to set Schobel up. The ball's perfectly passed to the top of the net, letting exactly what Cole wants to hit.
That's 4 kills, 0 errors. He's now hitting .571. Schobel, spin, picked up by Kiriakou. Cossey out to Jokanovic, off the head of, I believe it was Bruning, and it goes out of play. Jokanovic, you can see he's picking it up. He's got 9 kills, now hitting .143 from the 0.80 a few points ago. Costi, off speed, picked up by Guy. Outside of Bruning. Bruning rips it down the line, no touch, and hit long.
Boy, that block just split.
9 looking at 10. That was Goss and Darcy. Actually, looks like they're committing Jokanovic to that side. We'll see. Actually, Darcy's swinging that way now.
Yeah.
Costi, tight pass, and look out below. OMG, or Oh Micah Goss.
Got Joe Wallace in the game now, replacing Jason Walmer. But you have 2 liberos, so you can use both of them. One's, in this case, is a serve receive libero.
This serve goes into the net, and Santa Barbara pulls ahead at 11-10. Guy serving for UCSB. He's chipped in 7 digs and 4 block assists. 2 kills on the night. Spin serve. Aitken, perfect pass to Costi. Shoots that to Goss. He goes off the top of the block and takes care of business as he slides into Gucci Row North.
Yes. Again, he put Micah Goss into the gap. Now, I'm not so sure because you've got Josh and George on that side blocking. Pretty big block.
Jokanovic going back to serve, but waiting for the sweat to be wiped up on the court side. I thought you were saying John Paul, George, and Ringo. Yeah. So. Jokanovic rips it cross court, and Schobel saves it on the out-of-system play. Free ball by Bruning. Aitken on the hand pass, big to Jokanovic, and he pings it off of Wallace for a point going to Irvine.
That BIC is getting lower and lower for UCI. They're going to have to At least that time he had a middle up in front of it, which held the.
See, that is a big. What we're seeing on
a back quick,
not that
pipe.
high ball stuff.
Yeah, the pipe.
Jokanovic takes an aggressive swing, overpass, and OMG on the one-timer. That's Micah Goss again.
It was funny because Andon was right next to him. He just got out of the way. He said, "You got it." I won't bother on this one.
Andon's trying to represent the country of Canada, and he got shoved out of the way by Goss.
Yeah.
Jokanovic again. Tight pass. Shobo, one hand. Arroyo dug by Jokanovic, saved by Aitken. Coming over. Saint on the hand pass. Shobo. And going thumb down and straight up the gut is Josh Arroyo.
Yeah, it was Rick McLaughlin was talking to us before the match about Josh and how talented he is. And that was evidence of that. He was way up in the air.
Arroyo back to the service line. That was his first kill of the evening. 12 looking at 13. Arroyo serves this one into the net for a point going to Irvine. And that brings another middle. Micah Goss back to serve. Goss with 6 kills, hitting .231. He's got 3 block assists on the night. Goss stands at 6'6", a sophomore middle. Again, was on that U21 World Championship team with Riggs Guy this last summer. They got bronze medal. And a double.
Oh, hey, don't forget our one Frenchman who's still local.
Yeah, Aaron Kuby. We haven't forgotten about you. You're just hanging out in Newport Beach.
Hey, he's down there at 48th Street.
That was Micah Goss was set over towards Darcy. Goes up and out of play. Point going to UC Santa Barbara. Yeah, and if Kevin Tilley, I knew you said you'd try to watch tonight. It's a different side of the globe for you.
Different time, too.
Playing in Poland, both Hillier and Tilley. Bruning over towards Jokanovic. Kossi back to Darcy. Darcy blocked, covers his own ball, throws it down on 2, and cleans up top, or throws it down with a 2-hand shove.
That was almost a great dig by Riggs Guy. He saw it all coming, almost got to it.
William Darcy serving it up for Irvine. Goes to the hybrid. Perfect pass by Guy. Schobel back to Bruning. Cuts it off speed and grabs the sideline.
It's a nice shot. Took a little off of it, just controlled it.
He slowed his approach a little bit. I'm like, oh, he's going to cut something here.
He did. Cut right to the sideline.
Thinly sliced. Ethan Saint serving for Santa Barbara. Kiriakou. Kossi, Kiriakou blocked, and that's Schobel and Pilkvis on the double stuff. 15 looking at 16.
And when
that was all Schobel. Got to give the setter credit for lining up.
Absolutely, but when Andon's hitting, you really need to cover. Andre's got to get himself a little more in the action.
Saint goes down the line, misses long. Point going to UC Irvine. That's the thing, people give teams a hard time for service errors, but you have to make something challenging in serve receive for the other team.
Can't serve it easy. They've got 4 attackers or 5 attackers. You've got to serve it tough enough, but it still has to be in,
Kiriakou serving for Irvine. Winds up, pass by Wallace. Schobel over to Guy, dug by Aitken. Kossi outside Jokanovic. Bruning picks up the ball off the block. Schobel on 2, he's denied, but it's covered by Saint. Free ball up and over by Bruning. Aitken on the offering. Kossi in the middle. Clark jumping and thumping and making it bumping in the house.
Once they got the game kind of going back and forth, that altered the blocking style of Santa Barbara, allowed Clark that spot to hit it to.
Clark with authority. And Kossi, good selection there. Both blockers up as Kiriakou goes to serve and goes into the net. And that brings Pilkvis back to serve for Santa Barbara. Dylan Pilkvis, not getting a lot of attack attempts tonight, but he's got 4 block assists and an ace to his name.
He's also got a twin brother that's on the team, Ryan, who's injured now.
And at one point, Coach McLaughlin said we could see them both on the court.
Yeah.
Outside Jokanovic. Jokanovic inside the block. Point going to Irvine.
How about both Piltfists played at El Segundo for the famed Tim Hovland, one of the all-time greats.
Charlie, I got to broadcast with him some beaches. Like him and Randy Stoklos was one of the top moments, experiences I've had.
Yeah,
I've never laughed so much in my life.
Yeah, Hov's pretty funny.
Bruning swings and bounces it off the end line. Point going to Santa Barbara. You're fun too, Charlie. But I mean,
come on.
Hovland and Stoklos.
Those guys are good. Hovland always famed for ripping his shirt off.
Pre-ripping it.
Yeah, and then ripping it and having a spare in his bag.
17. Look at a 19. Schilbel back to serve. Goes deep over towards Kiriakou. Kossi over to Jokanovic, and he tries to go extreme angle. Had it open, but cut it a little too thin.
He didn't get his arm all the way up. He tried to cut it too early, and the ball never got over the net.
18 looking at 19. Schobel for UCSB tonight. 21 assists. Schobel over towards Kiriakou. Darcy denied by Aruya and Guy. And like that, we've got 19s across the board. That was a little inside for Darcy.
A little inside.
And we got a timeout by UC Irvine as we're all knotted up here in a third set that Santa Barbara needs to win to force a fourth.
Right. They're playing very solid, and Irvine's a little bit inconsistent on their play. They've got to continue to attack and get all the way to 25.
Yeah, I feel like the substitution or the change of Josh Aruya has really made a difference here, even though his numbers don't say it.
Yeah, absolutely. The energy level that he's brought is tremendous. He's made some big blocks, a couple really good hits, and it's just a different chemistry.
And the fact that he's got his head above the net when he's pressing over, he's taking a lot of airspace.
Yeah. Well, and you can't take that for granted, you know.
Yeah, looking at UC Santa Barbara, Ethan Saint with a hot hand, 12 kills, hitting .346, 4 digs and 2 block assists.
Yep.
And then alongside, George Bruning, 10 kills, hitting .389. He's got 5 digs and 2 block assists. But look at the total hitting efficiency for both sides. Both really, well, Santa Barbara's where it's supposed to be at, but Irvine hits .355 on the norm.
Yeah, and they're .205. Also, I'm a little concerned about the blocking discrepancy. Santa Barbara's not known for being a big blocking team. They're up 9. They have 9.5 blocks to only 4.5 for Irvine. Irvine had 4.5 midway through the second set.
Yeah. Cole Schobel out of the timeout, continues with serve for Santa Barbara, 19-19. Schobel winds up, goes over towards Kiriakou again. Kossi on the shoot to Goss, and Goss puts a stamp in the corner.
Well, again, they're moving their middles around. They're not running the middle right back at the setter. They're not running a 1. They're running that little gap. He's got to realize now that he's running the gap, the back set will be wide open because the middle blocker has to slide towards the gap.
Kossi serving for UCI. Goes over towards Guy. Schobel on the quick to Aruya, and he blasts it off the block of Goss.
I think that was off Jokanovic.
Let's see on the replay as you see Aruya come in. Okay, it was Jokanovic.
Yep, outside hand. Knocked it back.
20-20 Guy at the service line. Aitken, perfect dime. Back over to Jokanovic. Jokanovic dug by Schobel. Wallace sets right side, Bruning, tight set. And he goes off the outside hand of Darcy. Point going to Santa Barbara as they take the lead at 21-20.
What do you think? Is George winning the big guy versus big guy right now?
You know, I'm going to go by the numbers, but the stats just cleared out on the live stat.
Oh.
So I can't tell you. Darcy over the block. And there's a touch called off the block and overridden by the R1. The lines official called the touch, and the R1 overruled the call. Let's see the replay.
Yeah, the R1 is 4 feet away from the ball, whether it's touched or not touched.
So no challenge. She got a timeout instead, and Irvine electing not to challenge. They trail by 2, and you can feel the momentum shifting the Santa Barbara way here.
Yes, I did not see a touch on that.
And with that, you're looking at head coach David Niffen going into the timeout. Some other action around the land here. Pepperdine up 2-1 on Penn State currently. And Princeton and CSUN tied at 1 set apiece. Lindenwood gets out of their match against a hot Belmont Abbey 3-0 tonight. So,
yeah, interesting.
Yeah, this is the thing with this year. The top 5 have been so fun to watch this year. Top 6 even. And then the rest of the way, it's like these clawing battles, trying to move their way up in the polls.
Well, you and I both know CSUN is very talented.
Oh, yeah.
And San Diego has been highly touted. Obviously, Santa Barbara is extremely competitive. And those are supposed to be the 4th place finishers in the Big West.
Yeah.
Big West for a long time with Long Beach and Hawaii and Irvine has probably been the most competitive conference for a while. Obviously, the MPSF is very talented also. You got UCLA is always there, SC is always there. They're good. Pepperdine, and Stanford, and BYU. So
we're out of the timeout with Riggs Guy back to serve up 22-20 here in set number 3. Must-win set for Santa Barbara. Guy, mild toss, goes down the line to Kiriakou. Kossi sets Goss, and he hits it long. 23-20. I thought that ball was going to Darcy at the outside. Miss hit by Goss. Gives the Gauchos a 3-point margin. Kiriakou. Aitken sets right side. Jokanovic off the block. Dug by Wallace. Turned back in. Schobel back bumps at the Bruning. Dug by Aitken. Kossi fires back to Jokanovic. Jokanovic dug by Schobel again. Arroyo keeps it in play. Looking, shooting is Guy. Jokanovic steps in. Kossi back to Jokanovic. And Jokanovic goes high line on the winner, stopping the 3-point run by the Gauchos. (21) looking at 23. Can Jokanovic get the Eaters back in? Little sweat wiping to try and slow down the momentum on the Anteater side.
Absolutely.
But it's a chilly momentum if it's 1 point.
It's gamesmanship.
This year the ABCA has started the Player of the Year watch list, and Andre Jokanovic is the only freshman on that list for in the nation and for UC Irvine. But in the Big West, you have Trent Rosenthal. You have to start talking about Kainoa Wade of Hawaii, Skylar Varga, Long Beach State.
Yep.
Jump serve long, and it's a first set point tonight for UC Santa Barbara. And at the line is Josh Arroyo. Arroyo for the Gauchos stands at 6'9" from Mission Viejo, California. Goes cross court to Kiriakou. Kossi back over to Darcy. Darcy dug by Guy, saved by Schobel. Gonna keep it in play. Free ball by Bruning. Aitken hand pass. Kossi, Bick, and stuffing it is Pilkvist, Saint, and Bruning, and we are going.
Interesting, the hitting for UC Irvine. Andon Kiriakou is their leading hitter at 375 for the night.
And with that, Pilkvist steps back to serve as he winds up. Hybrid, pass by Jokanovic. Kossi back to Jokanovic, goes down the line off of Bruning over the top of Schobel.
It was an impressive approach by Andre. He just lifted his arm even higher just to make sure he got up and over and placed it really well.
1-0. Trevor Clark back to serve. Floats it, and Saint mishandles it. Saved by Bruning. Taking a rip is Guy, and knowing where Clark has to go back on defense, wise shot by Guy.
I'm not sure why Andon wouldn't go to the back left and let Clark play middle back.
So with that, Schobel back to serve, all tied at ones. Schobel on that southpaw swing. Good pass by Kiriakou. Set in the middle to Goss. Goes off of Arruya. Picked up by Saint. Schobel back to Arruya, who hits it long. It was just a low set from Schobel.
That was Schobel said, my fault. If you want to hit the ball up off the block, it's not going to work in Santa Barbara because they are running. Their movement to the ball is so good.
Costi back to serve for UC Irvine. Costi, 31 assists, 6 digs on the night. Pass by Saint. Schobel, big over to Saint, and he pops it off of Costi's knee. 2-2. Saint has been providing some really good offense.
That same serve receive there in row 1 has been the bick to Saint every time.
That's Saint's 13th kill, tied at 2 apiece. Guy off the cable, pass by Aitken. Costi back over to Jokanovic and goes thumb down off of Wallace.
That was a great move by Wallace just to get his hand on it.
3 serving at 2. I wonder how that gym looks like when you're trying to pick your libero between Wallace and Wolmer, because they're both doing such good things.
They're both very talented.
Jokanovic, cross court, pass by Wallace off the net. Schobel, Saint goes inside the block. Point going to the Gauchos.
Micah Goss's block is just a little off today. Like that time, he didn't have it closed.
Score side at 3s as Arruya goes back to serve for the Gauchos. Arruya serves that one into the cable. Falls on the Gaucho side. Point Irvine. Goss serving for Irvine. You know, Charlie had mentioned he's not having a Micah Goss kind of night from the block, but even offensively, 7 kills, hitting only 188.
Yeah, both of them. And serving. He's been,
Goss goes down the line, misses just long. Point going to Santa Barbara. 4-4. This brings Bruning back to the service line. In the house tonight from the USA men's national team, Karch Karai, along with technical coordinator Nate Go. Bruning, Kiriakou, Costi back to Darcy. Darcy dug up and over. Darcy swings again and goes second time around. Point going to UCI. 5 serving to 4. Irvine having to work really hard to score.
Yeah, that's what I said. I mean, you get a great hit off the block, and they get it back.
Darcy, hybrid, pass by Guy. Schobel, Saint, and easily goes cross court into the alley.
Was that a hole in the block again?
I thought it was inside. It was weird because Jokanovic looked at the block and said, wait, like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah.
Like they had something set up for Saint. 5-5 as Saint goes back to the service line. Saint having a great night, 14 kills, hitting 393. Costi back to Darcy. Darcy off the top of the block. Bruning, high dig. Schobel back to Bruning. Goes cross court and goes long, but it got a net violation on Kiriakou. 6-5, Santa Barbara. Saint going back to serve. We watched the replay. Bruning coming in on that back row attack, and you see Kiriakou hit it low.
Yep, on the way down.
Jump serve misses, 6 inches long. Point going to Irvine. 6s across the board. As Kiriakou wanders back to the service line for UC Irvine. Kiriakou, 5 kills, hitting 375, 3 aces, 4 digs, and 2 block assists.
Yep.
Kiriakou. From Toronto, Canada, the Uxbridge Secondary School. Pass by Wallace back over to Bruning. Bruning down the line. Aitken got underneath it, but unable to pop it high enough for another touch.
You know that George has been hitting sets from Schobel since the 7th grade. They've played together all the way through club together.
7 serving to 6. Pilkvist serving for Santa Barbara. Pilkvist towards Aitken. Costi in the middle of Clark, and Clark goes off of Saint, and it goes somewhere over by the 73.
Arroyo just jumped too early, was all the way down by the time Clark hit it.
7-7, and Trevor Clark not having the night that he normally has.
No, I think they slow him down, and then let's see how good you are once you're not doing what you want to do.
And Bruning goes cross court on the rocket attack for point going to Santa Barbara. 8-7. Bruning's approach looks like he's going to hit hard line every time.
Yep.
And he turns it last second. Schobel serving for Santa Barbara, goes into the net.
Toss wasn't high enough.
8 serving 8. The other setter going back to serve, that's Cameron Costi. Costi, 33 assists, 6 digs, and a block assist. See what he does. Last spin on the toss, goes over towards Wallace. In the middle, Saint popped over by Aitken. Overpass side by Bruning, dug by Kiriakou. Out to Jokanovic. Jokanovic roll shot dug by Saint. Schobel back right side guy. Roll shot dug by Aitken. Picked up by Kiriakou. Jokanovic off the top of the block. That was the resilience play by Irvine. 9-8. Great effort on both sides of the court. Kiriakou just kept feeding the machine in Andre Jokanovic.
Jokanovic said something to Riggs' guy after the hit.
Costi, good pass by Wallace. In the middle, Arroyo blocked, covered by Saint. Goes up and over, and free balled by Jokanovic. Schobel, Saint out of the back row, and he pops the cap in the corner. Point going to Santa Barbara, and we're tied at 9s. And Coach Rick McLaughlin not happy with the no call during the rally, and it's the most animated that you'll see him.
Yeah, he is. He's pretty under control.
Riggs guy over to Aitken. Costi in the middle to Goss, and busting out the whooping stick is Micah Goss. 10-9 Irvine. Perhaps that lights the flame on OMG in the middle. We shall see as Jokanovic gives a serve. Jokanovic winds up and goes out of control into the antenna. 10-10. Arroyo at the service line for UCSB. Arroyo 2 kills on the night. Came off and played in the third and was the key component to taking that third set as he serves into the net again. That one had a chance of coming back over.
Yeah, but again, Cameron Costi was at the net, and he made a move towards that ball, knowing it might sleep over.
11 serving to 10. That brings Goss to the service line for Irvine. Goss, a 6'6" middle from Santa Barbara, Dos Pueblos High School. Ball's passed by Guy. Back set Schobel to Bruning off the top of the block. Picked up by Goss, set by Jokanovic. Kiriakou over a set, and Bruning takes care of business. Point going to Santa Barbara, and that's just fundamentals now. Jokanovic knew it as soon as it left his hands. As you watch the replay and the follow through, that was an easy feed for Bruning. He probably could have let it go out.
Yeah.
11-11 jump serve into the net by Bruning. Serving 11. Darcy at the service line. Been a little quiet here, especially through 3 sets of play. And serves into the net. Point going to Santa Barbara. And frustration beginning to show here on the Anteater side.
Absolutely.
12-12, Ethan Saint.
This is row 4 that gives the Anteaters a little trouble from time to time.
Saint, 15 kills, hitting 400. Bad pass by Kiriakou, saved by Aitken. Kiriakou Wipes off the block, covered by Clark. Kiriakou, cut shot, dug by Guy. Right side, Bruning. Bruning into the net for a point, going to Irvine. And Irvine seeing probably their most scrappy team they've seen this year. They're able to pick up a lot of the shots that Irvine would normally put away.
Yes. Well, starting with the middles.
Yeah. 13-12. Kiriakou serving after that ball. That was his 5th kill of the night, hitting 300, or actually 6th kill of the night. Wallace. Schobel goes against the grain, dug by Kiriakou, set by Kosti. Jokanovic down the line and goes off the block as well. Point going to Irvine. Kiriakou serving with a 2-point lead for Irvine. Big swing, tight pass, popped over by Schobel, back set by Kosti and Darcy. Block covered by Clark, free ball up and over. Wallace steps in on the free ball pass. Big to Saint, goes wrist away and goes out of play. But we got a net violation on Irvine. And it looks
12.
like the net's called on Trevor Clark. 13 looking at 14, and there's no argument there. So
No.
Dylan Pilkvist serving for Santa Barbara within 1. Pilkvist hits his hybrid serve. Pretty good dance on it. Picked by Jokanovic. Back to Jokanovic off the top of the block. Smooth operator. Jokanovic, give and go action from Cameron Kosti.
That's a bad matchup, putting Schobel in front of Jokanovic. Jokanovic just working his high hands.
Clark on the serve. High line, make that an ace for Clark. First of the night, 4th of the season.
This is interesting. I watched how close Santa Barbara is. Look, they're 12 feet back on the serve receive. So much court behind that if you just hit to the open court.
Another one picked up by Guy. Back set to Bruning. Bruning hits wide and long. Point Irvine, 17-13. And we got a team timeout taken by Rick McLaughlin. Not happy with his team right now. He called the timeout, turned immediately to his bench. So with that, you're looking at the Irvine bench as they are like in this 4-point lead here. You know, Irvine again, offensively, only hitting 223, being seriously out hit by Santa Barbara at a 305 clip.
Yeah. Maybe it's because both schools have finals next week, but everything seems to be pretty lethargic out here right now. If I noticed, there's no energy.
And on screen, you're looking at UC Santa Barbara's upcoming schedule. They have a non-conference match against a local team, Cal Lutheran University, and then they travel to Hawaii for 2 on March 27th, 28th, and then they take on the Matadors of CSUN on April 2nd. Not an easy schedule for sure for UC Santa Barbara, but you know, when you talk to Coach McLaughlin pre-match, he's like, I always schedule hard. I don't care about what happens during non-conference.
If you
I want my team ready for Big West.
If you want to be the best, you got to learn how to compete against the best.
But I love the fact that he's created the competition in his gym for starting spots.
Yes, yes. Jokanovic has slowly snuck back into the lead with kills. He has 17 kills. Even one more than Ethan Saint.
Clark back to serve, up 17-13. Floats down the line, hand pass by Guy. Back out to Guy. Guy off the block, dug by Clark. Kosti in the middle to Goss, and Goss fires it off of Bruning, playing defense in area 1. And that was even a low set. Goss was able still to get on top of it.
Yeah, he beat the.
Is that a float pattern right there?
Yeah.
I personally like the pop. 18-13 as we wipe some sweat up on the Santa Barbara side.
I think this is hurting Santa Barbara. They're in so far on their receive, and Trevor's just serving high, which is not getting them a good swing on the ball.
Kosti got caught in the net on the joust up top between he and Guy, and he knew right off the bat. As he looked at Aiken, he says, my bad. I like a player who takes responsibility for the errors.
Sometimes you take responsibility. It's an excuse instead of a justification.
Schobel going back to serve for UCSB. Schobel, 25 aces on the season, averaging .45 aces per set. Doesn't have any tonight, but he's still creating some trouble from that line. Tough serve, pass by Aitken, back dump, and it goes into the net. Point going to Santa Barbara.
Riggs' guy was there, though. He had it covered.
Schobel back to the service line for UCSB. Schobel is named the tight pass. Bruning wins out up top against Jokanovic. Free ball up and over. Arroyo hand pass. Schobel big to Saint. Saint dug by Aitken. Costi pushes Goss out of the way. And going off the block, dug up and over by Wallace. Picked up by Aitken. Set to Jokanovic. Cross-court rip. And this time Wallace can't get it back over. There's a collision on the Irvine side. I believe Kiriakou may have taken out Jokanovic, and a yellow card is assessed to, I didn't see if it was a team one or to a player.
It was to Jokanovic for yelling.
19-15. So you're looking at Joe Sloat, the R2, but the yellow card was issued by Sid Church, the R1 on duty, as we look at Cameron Costi going back to
Sloat actually is the one that gave it to him, the down guy.
Oh. Costi over towards Saint. Schobel to Saint out of the back row, and he goes off of Costi. And Saint.
Come on, if you charted that ball's going to that back right corner every time around the block. Line up and let's dig that.
Had comparisons to Ryan Wilcox, another great gaucho outside who qualified with Troy Field today. A Norseca qualifier in Hermosa Beach. Goss off the top of the block. Wallace picks it up, set out to Saint. Saint off the block and out of play. And like that, Gauchos pulled in a pair.
Again, Goss was not square.
17 serving 19. Riggs guy going back to serve. He has 4 kills on the night, hitting 133. Kiriakou to Costi, back over to Jokanovic, and drills it down the line off of Wallace. And he took a little off of that because that wasn't a very hard hit ball.
He took just enough to get it to sneak it outside the block and in down the line. Caught Wallace kind of high. Made it tough for him to control.
20, looking at 17. Jokanovic going back to serve. Jokanovic, high toss, goes off speed. Good pass by Guy. Outside to Saint. Saint drills it in the seam. Darcy and Goss somehow got in between them. (18-20), Arroyo serving for Santa Barbara. Arroyo, 3 kills, hitting .333. Serves that one into the net. Point Irvine, 21-18. Goss starting out the season serving aggressively, and it's kind of cooled off as we got a substitution. They're bringing Beck Weber in for Andon Kiriakou.
Blocking sub.
So will Clark go block left side, or will Weber?
Clark will go to the left side, match up with George.
He was an outside hitter at San Diego Mesa.
Yes, last year.
Goss goes down the line and misses just wide.
Oh. You know, you make that sub, a blocking sub, you've got to make sure that serve is in the court.
That brings Bruning back to the service line. Back and forth. Only a 2-point lead for Irvine. Bruning on the spin serve. Jokanovic to Costi to Clark, and he goes thumb down on the pound.
Yeah, they were, once the ball's passed into area 4, the left side doesn't come in to help on the block. That just gives Trevor Clark too much court to hit to.
Darcy back to the service line. Goes to spin, pass by Guy. Schobel back to Bruning. Bruning off the outside block of Kiriakou. 20, serving 22. Saint now with 19 kills, hitting .457, has 6 digs.
This is by far his best match of the year.
Saint, tough serve, picked up by Jokanovic. Costi to Kiriakou. Kiriakou off the top of the block. Point going to Irvine. And we're going to have a challenge by head coach Rick McLaughlin. So he voices his protest to the R2. So officially, Santa Barbara challenging that there was a no touch on the block. Original call was there is a touch.
The set was too close. It was right on top of the net. But
if you look at the replay, I think it's, ooh. I think that left hand of Schobel may have gotten it.
Yeah.
Like a index.
Yeah, they're eye to eye. Look at them. They're pretty same level.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
Definitely was out, but we'll see. So you're looking at head coach Rick McLaughlin. We'll see. It's going to be a big point for Irvine.
Yeah, that call is kind of, I'm not sure it's inclusive or conclusive.
Well, let's see.
Schobel said no right from the beginning. I don't know.
Oh, it would have been the ring finger and pinky.
Yeah.
Well, the pinky's kind of bent back there on that one.
Yeah.
But we shall see as you're looking at Rick McLaughlin on the bench there. Long time, well-respected coach in the game. Looking at another replay from a different angle. I don't know if we'll see anything better on this side. What do you think, Charlie? Oh, that's above now on that one. So many angles looks different.
Yeah, that's and you know, and Joe Sloat, the down referee's looking at a lot of different angles on this thing.
So it looks like he may have his decision. We'll wait and see. This will be, let's see. So successful challenge by Coach Rick McLaughlin. Score goes to 20, looking at 22. Obviously the Annual fans bring the Boo Birds out, but it's the right call. Saint back to serve for Santa Barbara. Actually, it's 21 looking at 22. Jokanovic to Costi to Clark, and Clark bombs it off of Bruning, and they're back up by 2, 23-21. That brings Andon Kiriakou serving for the Anteaters. Kiriakou stands at 6'2".
Maybe.
Kiriakou cross court, pass by Wallace, the wrong direction, set by Guy. Bruning, dug by Darcy. Jokanovic off the block, covered by Clark. Costi back to Darcy. Darcy denied. Point going to Santa Barbara. Timely, huge block by Riggs Guy. 22-23.
It looked like Darcy was late to that ball. Kind of hit it. Pretty good set, I thought.
Well, he waited on his approach, like he's hanging back.
Yeah.
Maybe he's expecting a different set. Dylan Pilkvist serving for Santa Barbara. Hand pass by Jokanovic. Jokanovic gets it right back, and he hits it long. Scores tied at 23s.
Yeah, it's getting interesting.
And now it's a match or set to 2.
Yeah.
And Pilkvist gets right back to the service line, hitting that hybrid float. Pilkvist working Aitken this time. Perfect pass to Clark in the middle, and Pilkvist ricochets it out of play, and we have match point Irvine serving to 23. Trevor Clark going back to serve for Irvine. Clark Dance on the hybrid, hand pass Saint, back over to Bruning. Bruning dug by Clark, still in play. Eaters moving out of the way, saved by Kiriakou, tight on the net. Picked up by the Anteaters, backhand by Jokanovic. Riggs, Guy, Saint bangs out of back row, we're tied at 24s. What an unorthodox play. And we're tied 24-24 on the back flipper by Jokanovic, picked up by Riggs Guy, stuff block. And Schobel going back to serve.
That's right through Micah Goss.
Good pass by Kiriakou, back out to Jokanovic. Jokanovic inside the block, dug by Wallace. Can the Gauchos turn it? Roll shot by Guy, dug by Darcy, set by Kiriakou. Stutter step by Kiriakou off top the block. Wallace hand pass. Schobel in the middle to Arroyo. Picked up by the Anteaters. Kiriakou, Kasi to Jokanovic, who pokes it inside the block. Match point number 2 for Irvine, setting to 24. And that brings Cameron Costi back to serve for the Anteaters.
Okay, Saint, this is gonna go to Saint on the Bic.
I'd be surprised if they went any other way.
Yeah.
I mean, he's hitting at a just under 500 clip right now, and they haven't been able to stop it.
You've got George on the left is the one thing, but probably they're gonna go to Saint.
Costi serving, match point number 2, serving at 23. Costi to Wallace, picked up, backset Schobel, cross-court attack goes wide, and point goes to Irvine, but we may have a challenge. I mean, Coach Rick McLaughlin has it, and he's not challenging it, but there's going to be a